Welcome to the Minspace podcast, your go-to channel for all things real estate in Kenya. Join us as we have exclusive insights into the dynamic world of property and investment, with expert insights and practical advice. Hosted by Mr. Mwenda Thuranira, the CEO of Myspace Properties. Each episode brings you valuable tips to navigate the ever-evolving real estate landscape. Stay tuned, informed, and let's explore the opportunities together. Karibu Minspace.
Thank you. Welcome to Myspace podcast. This is the only real estate we don't get to sell, and today we are doing it in a special way with a special guest. We are at Mivida, Keza, Riruta. Have you heard of Riruta? Riruta is just a few minutes from Junction Mall, few minutes from Lavington. I mean, it's a very comfy, cozy place. As we'll show you today, we are showcasing one of the best properties we have in Nairobi. And today, my special guest is the CEO of Mivida, Mr. Sam Kariuki, who is a long-time friend of mine, actually from the Centum days, and now we are still working together. Karibu, Sam.
Asante.
Yes.
Thanks, Mwenda.
So who is Sam?
Sam is was born here.
Here where? In Keza?
So this project is close to me because it's my childhood neighborhood.
Ah, nice.
And I school just here in Kawangware Primary.
Okay.
A walking distance from here. And one of my lower primary school teachers is one of the principals who sold us this land.
Ah,
so you can see it's a very deep
dear
and historical connection.
Ah, okay.
So Sam is a Riruta born.
Ah, okay.
Riruta born citizen, grew up here, schooled in Kawangware Primary up to upper primary, then moved to Muranga to some school where back then it was a barefooted play, but after that then came back to Nairobi.
Okay.
Yes. Wow. So I'm a simple Kawangware born, Muranga raised farmer, as I describe myself.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So you went to primary school here and secondary?
So secondary I went to Starehe Boys. Back then, it still does. They have scholarships, and I was a beneficiary of the scholarship scheme. Okay. So my high school then was Starehe Boys. Ah. Yes.
That means you were a student.
As they say, nikujaribu tu.
Pana watu wa starehe bana. Unajua kama sisi wengine tulisomea huko majina ingine hata ijulikani. Unaitwa Borerule huko kwa miraa huko ndani kabisa Meru.
But I think nowadays if you look at national schools general performance of KCSE, I don't think it matters anymore largely. Because you are getting, A students from almost across all 47 counties. Things have really changed. From in our days, A's were probably in the top 18 schools, and that was it.
Okay.
Yes.
Then after Starehe Boys?
After Starehe, so I decided to go study engineering, Moi University. So I was thrown back into another village in Eldoret.
Yeah.
So I studied engineering for 5 years. I remember I finished my class on a Friday. Presenting my final year project, and on Monday I joined an audit firm.
Oh, so an engineer going
so
to
from an engineer
audit.
I quickly switched over a weekend to an auditor.
Okay.
But that then meant I had to start now from the ground again, study accounting, do a degree in accounting, a master's in business, another master's in economics.
Wow.
But that said, engineers do make great auditors, and I suppose that's why the big four audit firms love employing engineers. An engineer is a problem solver. Has a very analytical mind, mathematical mind, very structured approach to problem solving. And interestingly, I found my engineering training had a good bearing on my ability to audit manufacturing companies. Because now you understand what they're doing, so it's very easy to audit them, yes.
I'm told engineers think in a straight line.
Very structured.
Very structured.
Very structured. So I think I'm an engineer, but then the finance element came.
Okay.
So became an engineer with a biashara, element. Because now I moved full time to finance.
Yes.
For at least 11 plus 6, for at least 17 years.
17 years.
I was in finance.
Okay.
Because when I moved from the big four firm, I worked for PwC for many years.
Yes.
From there, I joined the Centum Group. I was in Centum Group for 6 years. Initially as the group CFO, so finance. But I joined at an interesting time when the group was heavily investing in greenfield projects, real estate and others. And therefore, in a way, then you have to switch off from being just a finance person to a business person.
Yes.
It's a very entrepreneurial organization, doing massive capital projects. And because real estate had taken root as a significant part of that business, it's no surprise then I ended up moving eventually to the real estate side of things. So back to engineering. So from finance back to engineering. And then from Centum then I joined Actis, who owns Mivida Group today. Yes.
Perfect. And now we're in marketing.
Sasa tuko marketing. Now with biashara you have to be a bit of finance, a bit of people, a bit of kuuza. Yes.
So that means you can't think on the street line again.
No. It has to be, you have to be a general manager. You have to think very generally across all the facets that make a business.
Wow, good. So now that you are born here, by the way, I didn't know that. So
mwenyeji wa Kawangware.
Yes.
If you go to Kawangware Primary School, you'll find my at least a record of some Kariuki, yes.
So that's contributed in your decision to do a project here.
So I was very passionate, and I still remain very passionate, that this entire stretch of Naivasha Road, without disenfranchising people who live here, would one day convert to something more standard, more structured, better quality for the residents of. You know, gentrification is one thing that good properties replace what is existing that is unplanned, but it can come at a disadvantage to the people who are there who cannot afford. And therefore, affordable housing that incorporates those who are living there is something that I'm very passionate about. I remember when I was young, of course, I used to live on, along Naivasha Road, you have the right side and the left side. The right side is Riara Road, Kilimani, the very upmarket. Immediately on this other side, then used to be the more slum like areas. Of course, it has improved with time. So as children, we used to walk along Riara Road, all the way up to, I think it's called the Ndemi Road, then to Adam's Arcade. So you would of course see the very high end. It was always a dream that one day we will live in similar. It remains my dream then that people born and who live on this side can access good quality, affordable rental, if not ownership, just like everybody else, because it's their right, and it's a right thing to do. That's why this particular project is very close to me.
Wow. And now, as the people working here, I know there are so many construction workers, askari, nani. Are there some of your old boys?
I haven't met any specific one. I would say he's an old boy. At least the ones I meet are people a bit more on the profession side. But to your point, the fact that this project, today at least the one block, has given employment direct and indirect to more than 600 people is a source of pride. It means 600 plus households in Nairobi and of course outside of Nairobi are directly benefiting from an investment that we are making. And using our scale, this project is eventually 1,100 unit project. It's an estate, it's a whole estate, well planned. You're talking of, if you think of just the man hours or woman hours employed, you're talking of numbers in the thousands. And therefore the number of households impacted directly is a significant, and that's the real pride, that you're able to create something that impacts, that has a multiplier effect across tens or thousands of households across the country.
Wow, that's very good. That's one. Actually, you have motivated me to thinking of doing something big in my area, where I'm from. In fact, if in this country, if everybody did something to where they came from, let's say supporting a school, doing a project, creating employment, that could give us a better country. Absolutely. Instead of us focusing on here, investing in Dubai and elsewhere.
Dubai, or just a small thing for yourself. So you give back, but you give back in a sustainable way. So it's a social enterprise. It may benefit you, but it's a clear minimum. It's self-sustaining in a way. One of the things I do, I told you I'm a farmer, but I'm an Uber farmer. I practice Uber in farming. So back home, to your point about helping society, I have an agricultural outgrower platform. Where you bring together groups of farmers, secure for them bulk offtake agreements. You just get buyers in Nairobi, whether it's factories or exporters, to whom they can then aggregate and sell their produce to. You know, small-scale farmers have a problem with accessing markets. So you organize the market for them. They also have problem getting the right input with the right quantities, so you can then fund them to access inputs. And they have a problem of knowledge. So we employ agronomists at the village level who can move from farm to farm, developing the best agronomy best practice. So that platform is called the Mathioya Agropreneurship Outreach Program. It's also helping thousands of farmers convert from subsistence farming into high value crop farming. And it's helping. It's just something you hope will scale to the whole county at some point. It becomes a model that can be adopted at county or community level to empower small scale farmers. Yes.
Then when you empower them, like in the village, what you create a market for them, or?
Yeah, so it means if, say, Mwenda is an exporter of French beans, we sign an order with you. We say X tons every month. The X tons, because I don't have a farm that can do those X tons, you then organize hundreds of farmers, tell them there's a market, so we sign agreements with them, which have to be certified by HCD. You give them the inputs. The seeds are very expensive, so they can't afford the seeds themselves. You finance them to get the seeds. They need the right quantity of fertilizers. You finance them to get that. You provide the inputs on credit. So they will farm on the premise that there is a ready market. So after whatever harvest period happens, you aggregate the produce, you deliver to Mwenda, he pays you, you pay them. So you've secured them a market, so they are farming with a secured market. You've secured the right input at the right quantities in an affordable way to them. And very importantly, you're educating them because we employ agronomists to be with them on the ground. Just the best. It's an easy way of empowering people at the ground level.
This is a social or business? Or
no, it's a social enterprise for me.
It's a social enterprise.
It's a social enterprise. Yes.
Okay. That's good. Wow. Doing good for the community.
We have to.
Perfect. That's what makes great people.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we are here at Riruta, Keza, and we would like to know, why should somebody invest in Riruta? When we hear it from some, maybe it might sound better than from me. But that's where we're here. Yes. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Keza. This is Riruta's urban oasis. This is where luxury meets serenity. And for the doubting Thomases, come with me and see why.
Yes, thank you. Welcome back. So now we are in one of the apartments at Keza. We wanted to show you exactly what we are talking about. This is story ya Jaba. Hii ni story ya ukweli. We are showing you one of the units which is already, and as you can see, you can live here comfortably. So now Sam, mimi ni mtu, I'm a big mirror trader. Na niko na pesa kiasi, naweza invest. Na nimekuwa nikitafuta mahali ya kuwekeza hii pesa yangu. So why should I invest here? What opportunities do we have? Kwa nini nisinunue ng'ombe ama gari ya miraa? Why should I bring my money here?
Unajua ukiwa na pesa kidogo extra, ile tunaita surplus, lazima ufikirie what we call store. It's a store of value. The same way when you harvest excess maize, you eat what you consume what you will consume, then you put the rest in a granary for use. Whenever you think of a way to store value, you want something that over time will not be eroding the value. And the only asset today where you can put money and you know the value will not over time be eroded is real estate. So today ukiwa na 2 million, sema if I have my 2.7 million, if I put it in a real estate investment, 10 years later ama nikipatia watoto wangu, the same thing will be worth say 5 million. The number 2, even though leo nitacharge rent, I compute what we call a yield. My rent divided by, so my return, call it my return. Typically it's normally 8 to 10%. But that's a misleading figure because rent is what we call the yield of the rental yield is what we call a real return. Inakuanga imechukua in consideration the inflation. So ukicompare na T-bill, you see for T-bill, if I invest $1 million, I'm paid say 10%, I'll get 100K throughout the life of that treasury instrument. Rent over time reprices. Inflation ikienda juu, rent inaenda juu. Inflation ikienda, so we say it's a real return because to know what to compare it with a T-bill, lazima uongeze the inflation rate. You upate what we call nominal. So real estate will always be the best store of value, especially if you're trying to build long-term wealth. So ukiuza miraa yako and you have some surplus and you want to keep some of that surplus in long-term wealth, real estate is always the best. Tuangalie hizi nyumba. Say if you invest your 2.7 for a studio here, our estimated rent is somewhere from 20K to 25K, driven by a number of things. One, the quality of the product itself, but also unlike most developments you'll find in the whole of this locality, this comes not just with a unit, but the wider amenities. I talked of 30% of the land being a green park, for example, meaning you can sustain at worst case that 20-25K rent. So you're talking of anywhere from 9 to 10% rental yield and furnished. If you furnish, my experience so far has been if you furnish, that rental yield now goes to between 15 to 20% if you are leasing it out as a furnished unit or Airbnb. Airbnbs are very common. In fact, with the Airbnb now the return is something else because you're operating a hotel as it were. So it's a yield anywhere from 8 to 15% depending on whether you are furnishing or not furnishing.
Not furnishing. So in short, nikiekelea 2.7,
yes.
How much will I get per month?
So per month, hapa sasa 2.7 minimum you are getting is 20K.
20K.
Up to 25K.
25K.
So that's like 300K a year.
Okay.
So that's already above your 10%
okay.
Real return.
Real return.
Yes.
And if I furnish it?
If you furnish, just to give an example of some apartment I manage at Garden City, unfurnished is 60K. The moment it was furnished, the rental gross is 130. Even if you deduct other expenses, inakujanga about 120. Okay. Yes. So almost doubles. Double. So here, if you manage this as an Airbnb for a studio, yes, you are talking monthly roughly 40 to 45K. 40 to 45. So you get double. And like, for example, your buying price of 2.7 million. If I was to furnish, how much will it cost me? Roughly. I'll probably give it 400, 500K. Oh, okay. So that's basic, very nice. That's very classic. Very that's my investment of 3.1, giving me 45K a month. A month. Yes. Wow. And there's also another market which I've seen growing in real estate. You know, we have seen many parents nowadays. Au majensi hawa mnaona hapa kwanza hawa hapa. Wanakaa kwa nyumba mpaka mtu anafika 30. Unajaribu kuwafukuza kwa nyumba. Angalau apate vitamin D. Mnakuwa na dume wawili kwa nyumba, yes, wanawake wawili watatu. Of course that is not the way to go. But the way I was looking at it, our majensi, unajua they come from different mindsets, different age group. So their thinking is different. So for a parent who wants to give their kids a starting point, I am kind of thinking this is the best way to jumpstart them. So kama we ni msasi, uko na agency ama agency wanakuja, ama Gen Alpha, this is, if you want to start them well, wasiishi na wewe wafike 45. Kwanza hata kuleta bibi kwa nyumba. Ama ni aje kwanza wewe? Unaishi nyumbani. So it's if you want to start their life well, once they clear their college, they're working, unamnunulia ka apartment, anaanza maisha yake. Akipata watoto, akitaka kuexpand, hiyo ni ile hali yake. Yes, kwa hivyo atajipanga hivyo. So if you are parents and you want to set up your kids for success,
I think Keza is the way to go. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's one of the best things you can do to your child is that jumpstarting. Akimaliza college, akona mahali safe, quality safe place, anaweza anza kuishi. And therefore, even if they get employed very quickly, they are not using their first 5 years of salary to pay for rent. They are already in a very safe and almost the same quality as their own home, if not better. So you know your kid is in a very nice, safe, quality space that they are living and they're not having to spend the rent. Na hata akiendelea kuongeza mshahara yake, now and the family grows, they can now move, but you'll have given them a permanent income stream on a monthly basis. Obviously, you can imagine the kind of rent these apartments will be fetching, say 10, 20 years out, but you'll then have given them a permanent growing income that then sets them up for life. Yes.
Wow. And of course, I know many of you struggled many of you will ask, why should I buy a house for my child? Myself, I struggled. Everybody has struggled. But doesn't mean your children have to go through the same problems. They'll have different problems.
Absolutely.
So if you can give them a good jump start, especially at 2.7 million, get a unit, aanze hapo kwanza atoke kwako nyumbani.
Ni muhimu sana.
Atoke kwako nyumbani.
Yake afanyie kwa nyumba yake.
Exactly. Yes. Ndio msianze kusumbuana. Unajua pia Gen Z mnasumbua sana. Hata kama mimi ni baba Gen Z, I know, but I would like to give my children a good starting point. They don't have to start the way I started. Mimi nilianza KSQ kwa Kawangware, nilianza wapi, nilianza nyumba ya mabati. That's your story, not their story. They have a very different story. So, Sam.
And it's why you work hard anyway.
Exactly.
For them.
Exactly. Yes. Kwani vitu unatafuta ya nini? Sini ya watoto. So, come at Keza, make it happen. We'll give you a unit to jumpstart your children. Do you have a question for me today?
Well, I can ask, unrelated to real estate, now that you're in real estate.
Yes.
Kuna wakati niliona rumor kwa social media yako, watu wa Isiolo walikuwa wamekuita. They had summoned you.
Yes.
Sasa ungekuwa unaitwa mheshimiwa.
Mambo fresh.
Mambo fresh.
Yes.
Mipango ni gani sasa?
Sasa, of course, unajua we are part of community. Na mimi nikiwa hapa, when I'm working in Nairobi or Mombasa or wherever, or America, anywhere I've been, always imekuwa napigiwa simu, kuna harambee, kuna mchango, kuna university, kuna matanga, kuna hospital bills. That's the order of the day. So I kept on asking myself, kwani uko? What's happening? And imekuwa ni daily affair. I'm sure even you experience such. Yes. And the more I investigated, the more I listened to the people, I came to understand the biggest problem we have was leadership. Nami kwa hapa tuko Nairobi, tumejipanga hapa na pale kidogo. Nasema wacha nikapange watu wangu.
Yes.
Nikaingia ground. Nikasahau kuingia ground. Of course we did a good campaign. We ran a very good campaign 2022. Kama ni kura niliingia. Other dynamics worked against us. But all you know, cannot say if the dream is still alive, can't confirm or can't deny. Tutaona ikifika. But all you know is was giving back to the society and trying to uplift other people, which we are doing in other ways. That's where we are here today. That's why we are doing this development, employing many people and stuff like that. So the cause is still there. We have not given up. And we can't give up on you.
Give up.
No. Bado tuko pamoja. Yes. Any other question?
No, that's it. Ingine real estate na.
Do you have ambition too? Nimesikia madhara unafanya farmers nini?
Siku moja watu wa Mivida wakinitumia habari ujumbe I will consider. Tutaangalia wanasema nini, wanataka aje, tuwaulize maswali, tukisikia vile wanajibu tuseme maybe mambo ya mjengo imekuwa mzito, tuende tuhudumie.
Yes.
But yeah, just like you are serving the community in different capacities.
Exactly.
Yes.
And of course even personally I believe the highest calling is to serve. Serving is the highest calling in life.
It's about service.
Yes.
That's what most people forget. It's about service.
Perfect. So thank you so much. Tutembee kidogo, tuangalie what's happening, ndio tuonyeshe watu hii story ya Jaba. This is reality. And come here Triruta and see for yourself.
And this is only 15 months. Tumejenga hii nyumba na 15 months.
15 months. Wow.
Kianza ni, yes. All the 13 stories now we are handing them over in 3 months.
Yes.
And as you can see, phase 2 tayari imeanza kujengwa.
Yes.
So phase 2 by next year, say December,
yes,
we hand over.
Okay.
Then the last phase of 8 units, if not this year, by next year Q1, tuanze kujenga. So in the next 3 years also tutakuwa tumemaliza hii the whole estate, the whole Keza estate.
Perfect.
Yes.
Wow, good. So if you want a viewing, if you want us to show you the house, call the numbers below and we'll bring you to Keza. We'll show you what's on offer and I'm sure you will like it.